This is level M, list 8, and we're doing the day 1 page where we're revising that we use CK after a short vowel. So let's go through and highlight the CK at the end of all of these words for the K sound. So we've got check, struck, lucky, duckling, buckle, prickle, knuckle, stricken, bracket, and o'clock. Now, if you get another colour highlighter, you'll see that the vowel before that CK is always short. So we've got it, it, o. And if you choose another colour, then we'll go through and have a look at any other things that are happening in these words. So we've got the CH for the ch sound in check. That's just t, 3 separate sounds. Lucky, we know the E sound on the end of a word is usually just a Y. We've got ing on the end here. Buckle, that's a stop consonant. Stop because it stops as soon as you say it. K. So we put LE after a stop consonant. Prickle is the same. We've got a stop consonant here, so we're adding the LE. Same with knuckle. They're all, the K is a stop, or the K is a stop sound. Here we've got the schwa ending, stricken. We give that a bit of a grunt sound, but we know we must write EN. Bracket is a bit of a grunt sound too, but we know we write ET. You can hear that T there. And o'clock, you've got of the clock. So because we're leaving out some letters there, we're using that apostrophe to say that we've contracted words to one shorter word. Okay, so we've also in knuckle, we've got a silent K, which is the common silent letter before an N. Now let's go through and see what these words mean. We've got check means to have a look at something to make sure that it's correct, and if you need to change it, so you should always check your work, or as you grow older you might have to check other things to make sure that you haven't got a flat tyre on your car, or that you've remembered to take your lunch to work. So it means just to go back and have a look at something to make sure it's done and that it's done correctly. Struck might mean that your things like trees can get struck by lightning. Lucky might mean that something really good happens to you. Duckling is a baby duck. A buckle is how we could do up a belt, or we might see buckles on shoes to help us do them up, to keep them on our feet. A prickle is something sharp that might pierce your skin and hurt. A knuckle are the bones on your hand that our fingers go out from. Stricken means an undesirable feeling. It could mean that you feel sick, or that you're scared of something, you're fearful of something. A bracket can be used to add extra meaning or words to a sentence, so you put brackets around something, or if you want to say all these things belong to one thing, you could just use one bracket. So you'll be using those more in the future in your writing, or in your planning of stories and that sort of thing. O'clock means of the clock, so it means on the hour. So if you're saying 3 o'clock, you know that the time is on the hour of that particular number. Okay, let's go back and read the words, sound the words, and spell them and write them 3 times. So we go check, ch-ek-k, 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 C-H-E-C-K, C-H-E-C-K, C-H-E-C-K. Cover it and write it 3 times. And don't forget to check that you've spelt them correctly. This is level M, list 8, and we're doing the day 2 page. So our words today are check, struck, lucky, duckling, buckle, prickle, knuckle, stricken, bracket, o'clock. So you can see in all these words I've highlighted the CK, so you need to do that. And the reason we're using a CK in these words is because there's a short vowel before it. So short vowel, you use CK after it. So you can go through and do that. Highlight that short vowel as well. And there's a couple of other things that you would see in there as well. You can see that we've got the CH for the ch sound we're revising. You've got the E at the end of a word. We commonly use just a Y for the E sound when we add it to the end of a base word. And lucky, sometimes there's about 10 words that end in EY. If you don't know, go for the Y, because there are thousands of words that end in Y for the E sound there. Ing at the end is quite easy. Buckle, now here you've got a stop consonant, and you know from previous lists that a stop consonant means we add LE after that versus the EL. So in knuckle you've also got the silent K. Stricken, now this is giving a schwat sound at the end of the word. That's how, so when you C-E-N or E-T at the end of a word, you know quite often we give it that schwat sound or that grunt sound, so we don't usually say stricken, we don't hear that sound, we go stricken and bracket. Whereas if we said them correctly, it would make the spelling a lot easier. So bracket, stricken, and this is o'clock. So let's go through and have a look at what these words mean. So check means to make sure that something is right. Struck is like the lightning struck the tree. Comes from the word strike. Lucky means you're fortunate. Duckling is a baby duck. A buckle is something that you'd do up a belt or a shoe with. You'd have a buckle. A prickle is something sharp that might pierce your skin or your bike tire, or a balloon or something. A knuckle are these joints on your hands. Stricken, it means that you've been, something's happened to you, that you've got something. A bracket is something that we use to perhaps hold up a shelf, or you could use it in a sentence to put in some extra information. An o'clock means on the hour of the clock, when the long arm is pointing to the 12. Okay, so let's read the words down the word and spell the words. We've got check, ch-ek, C-H-E-C-K, and you cover it and write it, and don't forget to go back and check that it's correct. These are quite easy. Fill in the gap with the missing less word. You're going to use these words to fill in the gaps there. Combined with a less word, you have to use these to finish the these common word usages. So you've got check, list, etc. You have to work out the others on your own. Link the synonym, the words that mean the same, to the antonym, to the word that means the opposite, to the list word. So you might have examine and check are fairly much the same, so you could highlight those the same colour, and ignore would be the opposite of that. You can work out the other ones on your own. Fill in the correct missing word. Now you've got check and check. We don't often see checks or hear about this check much anymore. It's an old-fashioned form of paying money to someone, where you write it on a piece of paper and you put your signature on it, and then the person receiving that check, that money order, has to take it to the bank, and the bank will pay that money into your bank account or give you the cash back. Now, we did put it in because it's not commonly used today, but it is something that you might read about in a book, so it's important that you know what they're referring to. And we've already discussed what this check means. So you can finish off that page. You might like to work in your group, or you might find it easy enough to do on your own. This is level M, list 8, and we're doing the day 3 page. And in this list we're revising that we put CK after a short vowel sound. So we've got check, struck, lucky, duckling, buckle, prickle, knuckle, stricken, bracket, o'clock. So you can highlight that CK in all of those words, then go back and highlight the short vowel, which is e, up, it, up, it, at, op. And then we'll go back with another colour and we'll just talk about the other things that we can see happening in these words that we're also revising. So we've got the CH making the ch sound in check. That's just 3 letters, 3 sounds there. Duckling, you've got the ing on the end. Now these ones here, we've got a stop sound. K is a stop sound because it's a stop consonant because it stops as soon as you say it. K. We've got it here too. K. And again, K. So if you've got a stop consonant, you always put LE after it for the ul sound. So let's colour in the LE at the end of those words. Now in stricken and bracket, we've got that and that et making a schwat sound. So we don't say stricken, we don't seem to pronounce it correctly, or bracket, we give it a schwat sound. So we say stricken and bracket. So we cut the sound short. So let's highlight that en so that you know even though you're saying you know it's en and bracket is that et. Now o'clock, we've put an apostrophe in there because that's a contraction. It stands for of the clock. So it's a very old term that we still use, of the clock. So the letters we've taken out, that's where we put the apostrophe in. Okay, let's read the word, sound the word, spell the word. So we've got check, ch-ek, C-H-E-C-K. Cover it over, write it and check it when you finish. C-H-E-C-K. Down here you've got singular and plural. That means these words are all nouns. So if we have more than one, we say ducklings. So you'll have to work out what you're going to put on the end of those singular nouns to make them plural, in their plural form. Break these words into syllables. Well, that's going to be quite easy. You're going to break it after the base word, so duck, prick, etc. So, and then you have to write them out. Or one thing I forgot to say, remind you, is don't forget knuckle has a silent K before that N. Okay, back down here, find the small words in o'clock, duckling, buckle and stricken. That's quite an easy one for you to do. Proofread and write correctly. So that's the sentence. So it should have the structure of a sentence with capital letters and punctuated and the spelling correct as well. Make the words and use each in a sentence. So you're writing unluckiest and you can make up your own sentence there. You can work out what this one's going to be. Make sure you follow the instructions of when to take away a letter and when to add letters. So in luckiest, for example, you can't have luckest. You've got to remember to keep that it sound in there too. We don't like y's in the middle of a word. That's why we're taking the y away and replacing it with an I, because we still need that sound in the middle of that word. We don't say luckest, we say luckiest. And if we add unto it as well, we've got unluckiest. Down the bottom we've got verb families, so you know the structure of doing that here. Here you're adding the s, the ing, and this is past tense, usually adding ed. Write the noun that matches the adjective. So we've given you the adjectives. You've got to work out which word it's describing from your list words. This is level M, list 8, and we're doing the day 4 page on prepositions. So if you have a look at inside the word preposition, you can see the little word position. So that's a good hint for you. It tells you the word, it's describing the word in the sentence. It tells us the position of something. So some of those words could be under, in, out, down, up, over, along, between, across, above, below, around. So the hint is a preposition is anywhere a mouse can go. So highlight the prepositions in green, and I've done one for you. Under tells us where, the position of something. The nouns are going to be in pink. So a noun is a name of person, place, thing or idea. So a house is definitely a noun. Verbs are in blue. We found one. Scuttle's there for you. You can find the rest of them. And the adjectives are the words that describe a noun. So tiny is a good example of an adjective. So you can go through and highlight all of those prepositions, nouns, verbs and adjectives in the poem. And then down the bottom it says use the prepositions at the top that weren't used in the poem to write your own sentences here.